Good afternoon, folks. Thanks for looking in. Decided to do this little video today to celebrate the life of and remember the work of Robert Ward from Wirksworth, a dear old friend of mine who sadly passed away after a short period of illness last year. I think it was September. He'll be greatly missed by us all. Robert was a keen family man. He leaves behind his son Richard and his wife and grandson. And yeah, it would be missed by us all. He was a keen clay pigeon shooter. And there you have it. This is him. He loved a laugh. He'd do anything for his mates. And there you have him again. And he'll be missed by the shooting fraternity. And he also was a master craftsman in the art of making these custom knives, which we're going to have a look at. We'll start with some of these Bowie knives. That one's a particular favourite of mine. He even did the leatherwork himself. The sheath he made out of horsehide. It's a 6mm blank. He made all the blades from raw blanks of steel. He didn't do any CNC work, all by hand. He was largely self-taught, and just look at the workmanship on that. Incredible, really. The hours that he spent lovingly, passionately making these knives was just something else, really. If you look at the radius edge on a lot of these Bowie knives, he actually made the machinery to do that himself. Having looked at various machines that were available, decided he could do better himself, and hence he did. The way that one just balances and feels in your hand is just superb. So that's that one. This is an interesting one. This is one of the early ones he made. Again, made from a 6mm blank. Finishes have got a slight texture on this one, it's quite interesting. All these brass rivets that he did. Every part of these knives he made himself. And he signed his work with a W on the blade. If it hasn't got a W on it, then he hasn't made the actual blade. He made some knives that he didn't do the blades for, and where is it? This is one of. Did all the handle work and the rest of it, but he didn't make the blade, hence it hasn't got his W on it. You've got an interesting pair of daggers, a matching pair. He's left some bluing on these. He experimented with different finishes. Regretfully, I don't know what all the different materials he used are now. We were going to record it all, but regretfully we never had a chance to do that, which is a sad shame. What else do we have? This one is quite a special one. He made this one to celebrate his son's wedding, and he stamped it with their initials. But his son was telling me he got one of the numbers out of line, and he was so annoyed he was going to scrap that blade. He was such a perfectionist, but his son's convinced him it just doesn't matter. But what a superb thing that is. Really pretty. We've got various different, I think that's a little skinning knife. some interesting bluing on it. Look at the workmanship, it's just superb. Another nice one there, some nice inlay on this one, good hook on that. It's quite a nice one. Some of the pen knives that he made, folding knives, are superb again. Look at the detail on that. He's decorated that with some grooves there, here and there, and all these brass rivets, and used the hinge pin from a centerfire cartridge, 223 I think that is. But the way that they open and close, the quality of that is just incredible, really. He experimented with lots of different materials. Bone handle there. Oh, sorry, staghorn. But the way it just opens and shuts, perfect. What else do we have? A nice one there. Quite a simple one. We've got here a little skinning knife. That one's cow horn that he's made that handle from, I believe. That's an interesting one, in that he was telling me a story about the titanium pummel on this one. Used to live in the socket of the hip joint of someone. Interesting story. He didn't say how he came to get that, but that's quite nice. What else do we have? He worked on various gun stocks, and he even did this little 410 pistol restoration. This is a very old H&R handy gun. I think it dates back to the 60s, and he repolished that action. He did a beautiful job. It's hardly ever been fired, lived in a safe for most of its life. And his brother Richard made this little holster. Again, nice bit of work there. Yeah, this was one of his latest creations. I think he only made 3 or 4 of these, but look at the workmanship on that. This is a folding Bowie. I think he made 3 or 4 of these. Well, look at that, how he's designed that, and the finish and the detailing, incredible. This little catch here opens it up, and then as you can see, it folds out and then snaps open. What an incredible thing. As I say, he only made about 3 or 4 of these. This one belongs to his son Richard. Incredible, really. That's that. And then there's this one. What a thing. Apart from the very impressive blade, to say the least. Look at the workmanship on the handle. The way that he cut these planks of wood and dowelled them all into these brass collars. Incredible bit of workmanship there. In the words of Crocodile Dundee, No mate, this is a knife. So there you have that. But also Robert did a lot of work on rifle stocks and shotgun stocks. We have 1 or 2 examples here. This is a Miracle President, dates back to the 1970s. Hardly done anything, but and the metal work is fantastic, but the stock on it was so tight that you couldn't see any figuring or colour in the wood. It was very, very tight indeed, and Robert restored that with his own blend of true oil and some other additives that he put in. That I don't know what they were, and that's just like new now. Look at the workmanship on that. That's Miracoo's equivalent of the Browning custom guns. Incredible little trap gun there. So that's that one. He restored the stock on this, again a Miracle MK70, and this was in very poor state, this stock, but it just happens to fit me really well for clay pigeon shooting, and he said, I can sort that for you, and it's better than new now. Just fantastic. And the hours he spent doing this, I think he put 7 or 8 coats on this if he felt it needed it. Time was never of the essence for him. All he wanted to do was turn out a job as perfect as he could. This is one. That's an early Parazzi. MT6 that belonged to his late friend Sean Smith of Wirksworth. I think he restored the stock on this about 10-12 years ago, and it's still superb now, as you can see. Here we've got a basically just a standard Tikka 595 that he's done a comb razor conversion on it, and look at the workmanship on that. Better than the usual wood butcher job you get a lot of the time. He finishes the inside where he's cut it the same as the outside, and then he's done a full restoration on the wood generally. And this is actually a gun. It's a semi-custom gun worked on by Callum Ferguson of Scotland, and it's chambered in 6.5 47. It's got a Krieger match barrel. The trigger's been reworked by Callum, and it's as a target gun. It can easily shoot sub quarter minute of angle groups, and that's just a 595 Tikka. Callum's custom rifles are something else. If you care to look on his website, you will be well impressed with that. This is another one that Robert worked on, and on the comb razor on this one, he improved that. He put these little datum blocks in there, so that after you've cleaned, you can take it back exactly to where it's positioned, so that you're not, it's exactly set up now. So you can clean it, drop it back in, tighten the little grub screws, job done. But look at the workmanship on that. Compared to a standard Tikka stock. The finish, obviously, that's a standard, almost new Tikka. 595 again, all worked on by Callum. Yeah, 6mm XC. I shot 1/2 inch groups at 300 yards. That's 595. So anyone knows rifles, knows what I'm talking about. That's well impressive. Well, the finish compared to Robert's reworked finish is obviously not in the same league, but it's a mass-produced rifle, and that's what you'd expect, of course. So that's that. Yeah, so there you have it. That's Robert Ward, an amazing guy, master craftsman, sadly missed by us all. God bless you, Robert, and rest in peace. And thanks to the lovely Mia for doing this little video for me.